after Dad went out to the pub, he came home drunk, and then he started becoming, he wanted to hit Mum, and I don't know why, so I went to sleep, and then I woke up to all shouting and banging, so I went downstairs, and then I'd realised he'd broken the table and was throwing it at Mum. So all of a sudden, my mum started saying, "Stop, don't hurt me," and he grabbed her by the throat and started choking her. So I couldn't stand by and watch, so I just shouted, "Stop, what are you doing?" And then he looked at me, and then I just ran. So I ran into my room, shut the door and locked the door, and threw away the key. I just hid under my bed so he couldn't see me. In the morning, I was brushing my teeth, and then I looked in the mirror, and there he was, staring at me. He crept up behind me and touched my shoulder. All I wanted was him to just leave me alone. He then started moaning, saying it wasn't his fault, and it was all Mum's fault. So I looked at him and just said, "Just leave me alone, please." Then I went to school, but before I went, my mum said, "Do not tell anyone, not even your friends, not even the teachers." Then I came home and saw Nan and Mum talking and arguing, saying, "This has to stop." And then she made the call. Every week, my child worker comes into school and she's dead nice and we get on well. She kinda helps me when I'm feeling down or depressed. She calms me down. She tells me everything's gonna be alright and that it's okay, but I still kinda miss Dad, but he's still the monster he used to be. The way he treated Mum. I kinda miss him still though. Me and my mum are getting on very well. We're creating a great bond. She started smiling. I might start smiling too.
I was in the relationship for 7 years and it started like any relationship does, it was great and he was lovely. And then slowly he started isolating me from my family and friends. He was telling me that they weren't good for us and they were trying to split us up and they were poisoning me against him. And at the time I just thought, well, yeah, that they are, and this is normal, this is totally normal. Everyone has arguments and everyone lashes out, don't they? March the 7th, I remember it clearly. I said I was going out, I was going to go and meet Sandra for a cup of tea, and he said I wasn't allowed out. And I said, what do you mean I'm not allowed out? And that's when he punched me. And then he held me up against the wall and he told me that if I dared talk back to him again, that would be it. And from then on, I wasn't allowed to leave the house. And it just got worse. I kept saying no, and he didn't listen, and he said it was his right. He's my boyfriend, he's allowed to do what he likes, isn't he? I got pregnant 3 times, and each time he told me I didn't deserve the baby, and he made me lose them. And then he started tying me to the bed whenever he left the house, just to make sure I couldn't leave. And he used to told me I deserved it. He thought I was cheating on him and he used to punish me. He used to put things in my mouth until I suffocated and passed out, and then he would bring me back to life and tell me that I deserved that and that I didn't deserve anybody to love me because I was just pathetic. I got pregnant a 4th time, And this time he said I could keep it. And there was hope then, because he was almost nice to me for the 9 months that I was pregnant. You know, he still hit me occasionally, but it was nothing like it was before. And then I had our son, and I thought, this is it, things are going to get better. But he suddenly became even worse. And he used our son against me. He said if I shouted or if I talked back to him or tried to get away, he would hurt our son. And then one day he left the door unlocked. And so I grabbed our son and I ran out onto the street and I shouted as loud as I could. And thank God a neighbour heard us and took us into the house and called the police. And he's now in prison for life, and we're in a new house, and my son's doing really well. And I'll get better. I'll get through it. I've got a bit of hope.
I love my wife, I really do. I mean, we've been together since we were 15 years old. I remember the first time when I asked her out in the lunch queue at school. It was like we were meant to be together. We had a fairy tale relationship. We had great holidays, great nights out, great nights in. It was just perfect. So then we did the next natural thing, got married and started our family. And for a while things were perfect again. But after the birth of our youngest, I started to notice a little bit of a change in her. Who admits that the wife abuses them? It's not something that I'm going to tell my mate, is it? They're just going to laugh at me and say something like, "Oh, don't worry mate, everybody gets grief from the missus, get on with it." But she's just so angry all the time and it's always directed at me. I mean, what have I ever done wrong? I mean, I don't even trust around the kids anymore. All the shouting and finger pointing and name calling. It's just horrible, they look so scared. I've left my job now. I mean, I feel I have to. What else can I do? I'm not going to leave her on her own with the kids. I mean, what else can I do? I mean, I've told the police, I went to the police, but I could just tell how they looked at me that they didn't even believe me either. I just don't know what to do. The shouting I could just about deal with, but it's when she started smashing up the house that I got really worried. You wouldn't believe some of the crazy things that she's done. I mean, one Christmas day, she grabbed the Christmas tree and threw it over the dining room table while the kids were still eating. Another time we were watching television, she didn't like the programme, so what did she do? Grabbed a bottle of water and poured it down the back of the telly. The telly exploded. But the worst thing is when she got a whole bottle of shampoo and just poured it on the bathroom floor and then stood in silence while I had to clean it up. I mean, I don't know what to do. I've tried to challenge her behaviour, but she just threatens to ruin my life and take the kids away from me. I've thought about divorce, yes, of course I have. But again, she'll have the kids and I can't trust her around the kids. She's just not safe to be around. I just don't know what else to do. After a few more times of going to the police and pleading with them, "Please take me seriously, you don't understand what's happening," they finally did, and thank God they did. They've now put me in touch with a local support agency who are talking me through my options and how they can help me. I've even got to the local GP who I can talk to about my stress. So hopefully things will get better. She went to court and got convicted, which sounds great, but she was allowed to come back home to me and the kids. How frustrating is that? But we're working through it. We have to. What else can we do? It's not perfect, I know that, but it's my decision and that's what I've chosen to do. But I do feel that I had to fight a little bit harder just because I'm a bloke. I do feel a bit safer now, the kids feel a bit safer now, but it's nice to know that there's somebody I can talk to when I need to.
I was married for 40 years to this man. I don't know how the hell I stuck it all that time. I was only 18 when I got married. I had 3 kids by the time I was in my early 20s. I couldn't move. Every time I went out, he wanted to know where I was going and who I was with. Never had any money. He controlled the money. Sometimes, if I complied with his demands, if you know what I mean, he might put a bit of money in the bank, but he always stipulated what I had to spend it on. Then when my daughter left home, the youngest one finally left home, I said to myself, that's it, I've had enough. All the verbal and physical stuff, and I've got to do something, I've got to get away. The day I told him I was leaving him, he just laughed in my face. Didn't believe it. He said, you stupid old woman, what do you think you're going to do? You've got no money. Anyway, I moved in with my sister. She had a little dog, and I took it out one day to the park. Flaming hell, I turned round and who's standing behind me? Him. He follows me everywhere. Even to the supermarket. He's got me haunted. I'm sick of the sight of him. I told him I'm fed up with this, I'm going to go to the police. He said, you stupid old woman, go to the police, they won't believe you. But he got his eye wiped. I did go to the police, and they did believe me.